It's Thursday. It's time for NSRLA. Welcome, race fans. I'm Ellis Thomas, joined tonight by Chris Smith and Cam Gillens here in the Slingshot TV booth. And we're bringing you race number 8 of the Downtown Auto Sales National Series, live from the Last Great Colosseum. It's Bristol, baby. Nestled in the scenic mountains of northeast Tennessee, Bristol, affectionately known as the Last Great Colosseum, has been a cornerstone of racing since it opened back in 1961. The brainchild of local businessmen Larry Carrier, Carl Moore, and R.G. Pope, the track was inspired by a visit to the newly constructed Charlotte Motor Speedway. Initially measuring a perfect half mile with 22-degree banking in the corners, Bristol has undergone several transformations to enhance the racing product. One of the most significant changes came back in 1992 when the track transitioned from asphalt to concrete, a rarity among NASCAR tracks, aiming to enhance the durability and the racing conditions. This change solidified Bristol's reputation for high-intensity racing. 1978, Bristol introduced night racing, adding a new dimension to its allure. The steep banking ranging from 24 to 28 degrees in the corners combined with the nighttime setting creates a Coliseum-like atmosphere that's thrilling and intimidating for drivers and spectators alike. Over the years, Bristol has been the backdrop for numerous unforgettable moments. One such instance was back in '95 when Texas Terry Labonte clinched victory despite a fierce challenge from Dale Earnhardt. This race popularized the term the Chrome Horn as Earnhardt's aggressive tactics led to a dramatic and unforgettable conclusion that left fans on the edge of their seats. Chris, we often refer to Bristol as the Last Great Colosseum. These drivers are going to have to put on their Gladiator helmets tonight for 200 laps if they want to make it to victory lane at the end of the evening. What are these nearly 30 drivers going to have to do if they are going to vanquish their toughest opponents on the racetrack tonight?
Well, Ellis, these drivers are going to have to find a way to tame the world's fastest short track tonight. And to do that, they're going to have to avoid trouble all night long. They're going to be working their way around Bristol for 200 laps tonight, 55% of the fuel, and 4 sets of tires in the pits with stage breaks at lap 50 and at lap 100. Ellis, for one driver, they're going to walk out of here tonight with one of the most iconic wins of their sim racing career. Who will it be? Well, we don't know just yet, but what we do know, it's Bristol, baby.
It is going to be quite the night. Lots of stories to follow. We're going to talk about those here shortly. But before we get there, just wanted to kind of bring up maybe a tough subject that people have been grappling with over the course of the day. Before we go racing tonight, we did want to just pause for a moment. We're going to do a special little moment of recognition once the cars hit to the track. But we want to recognize Greg Biffle, a champion, a fierce competitor, and a name that meant a great deal to a lot of fans of the sport and the sport itself. So, as we kind of move through the national anthem and early on to this evening, we're going to be thinking about him and his family as they tragically lost their lives earlier this afternoon in North Carolina. Folks, we're going to hit the national anthem, stand and rise and remove those caps if able for the playing of the national anthem. We're going to be right back on the other end of it. You are looking live at the virtual Bristol Motor Speedway, getting ready for 200 laps of full throttle racing here from NSRLA in the Downtown Auto Sales National Series, folks. It has been a wild start to the season. 7 races in, 7 winners. It's anyone's guess who's going to win tonight and shake up those point standings. Let's go ahead and take a look at where these drivers fall in their championship campaigns right now, headed out of Watkins Glen. You can see Tyler Honeycutt and Donnie Honeycutt still leading the points, but last week with a strong finish at Watkins Glen, really challenging for the win all night long, Matthew Heelchrist climbed his way up into third in the points, kind of establishing himself as a championship favorite. What do you think? We've got just 5 races left after tonight before the season finale, the regular season finale at Darlington. In fact, it's just 4 races left. Who are you getting nervous for, Chris? Does it change the way these drivers are going to drive tonight at Bristol Motor Speedway?
Yeah, it is fast approaching, and Ellis, this is a big opportunity race, I feel like. We know a lot of things can happen here, possibilities of a big crash, track blocking crashes. So this is an opportunity right here to lose some points tonight and also an opportunity to gain some points. I'm going to be looking around that cut line right there. Drivers like Brad Miner, Vincent Short, Tyler Hensley, those drivers right there, trying to solidify their position like Evan Janik did last week at Watkins Glen. So a lot of potential movers and shakers right here in the point standings tonight.
Chris, you mentioned drivers just trying to make it through any big events that happen tonight. That brings us to our stories that we're going to be following. Let's start with that last story. A good transition here. The big one. We can have track blockers at Bristol in a heartbeat. How does that happen? And is there any way to avoid that sort of catastrophe here over these 200 laps this evening?
Ellis, I feel like it's even harder here than it is at a place like Daytona and Talladega, to avoid the big crash because, it can literally happen anywhere here. And vision is so difficult in these high, steeply banked corners right here. It's difficult to see the next straightaway up ahead of you. So, yeah, it is a 1 or 2 car crash can easily turn into a 6 or 7 car crash if we're not careful.
Well, to get through those crashes and to get through these 200 laps, you're going to be using some tire rubber. Obviously, we're going to have the opportunity to come down pit road and get some tires tonight, but how much of a premium are those tires going to be over these 200 laps?
Oh, the tires definitely wear out here at Bristol. This is a place right here where you can abuse them very quickly and not even really realize that you're doing it. You can really feel like you're doing a good job here, and the margin is so very narrow between saving your tires and not saving your tires. You can get yourself in trouble very, very quickly. Seen a lot of loose cars out here tonight, Ellis, so you definitely want to try to manage that right rear and not make it angry.
Next 2 and final 2 stories kind of go together, managing your traffic and hitting your rhythm, particularly if you're the leaders, Chris. Within about 20 laps, these leaders are going to have to start slicing their way through the back half of the field. How difficult is it to do that, yet also maintain your rhythm to keep that track position that you've been fighting for so much all night long?
It's very difficult, Ellis, and lap cars can be running the lane that you want to run and kind of hold you up here for several laps. Lap traffic, they have their job to do. They want to try to stay on the lead lap and not fall a lap down here. So, yeah, it can be very difficult. It can be very frustrating as a lead lap driver, as one of the leaders, to try to work your way around the traffic right here. The key tonight, maintain your cool, try to stay calm in the pressure right here, and make sure that you keep all the fenders on the car as you approach that traffic.
Lots of pressure out there tonight. Just 5 races left in the regular season. Drivers going to be scrapping for every single piece of track real estate and every single point available tonight over the course of these 200 laps. It looks like we've got just about no time left in qualifying, Chris. It has been an interesting set of qualifying results. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the starting grid. Travis Bieber, and Chris, this doesn't surprise me. This has been a long time coming. Travis has been one of those drivers we've been keeping an eye on, but for the first time this season, that number 23 sits atop the scoring pylon as he is your pole sitter tonight at Bristol. You can see the starting lineup on the left-hand part of the screen in the tower. Jacob Cochran, Chris, that's a driver I've got my eye on. He's a potential winner. He's a former Bristol winner. He's starting from the outside of row number 1. Harold Tucker, awesome qualifying effort for driver 79. He's starting 3rd with Michael Wade, another contender, starting 4th in that number 16 machine. Second place place in points. Donnie Honeycutt needs to rebound over a last couple of rough weeks after that win at Rockingham. He's coming from 5th. Gavin Henson, slow and steadily creeping up through the standings. Gavin in that number 39 will come from 6th tonight. And then last week's winner, Evan Janik, that New York native, he's starting 7th, going after 2 wins in a row. Ryan Bittler, heartbreak after a strong run last week, ended in confusion on the final couple of laps. He's coming from 8th. Vincent Short, a driver we continue to see gain steam, he starts 9th in that number 55, with Bradley Minor in the 46 to his outside.
Yeah, Justin Harris will be rolling off in the 11th position on his outside. Dustin Lewis, after a great run at Watkins Glen last week, starting in 12th. Tyler Merkel is going to roll off in the 13th position in the number 6. And on his outside, David Moyer in the number 47. Enoch Hancock returns this week to the NSRLA series, and he's going to roll off in the 15th position. And on his outside, Mark Cofield, who has strung together a nice little series of races in the number 97. Dan Berg is going to roll off in the 17th position, and on his outside, we got Brett Wren in the number 24. Matthew Hill, a little bit of a tough qualifying run for the 57. He's going to roll off 19th, and on his outside, a newcomer here to NSRLA, Adam Holston. He's going to roll off in the 20th position.
Olsen, not a new face for Slingshot TV fans. Number 21, Brandon Vees, the number 65 car, comes from 21st after a season's best finish last week at the Glen. Blaze Baker, another fast driver, coming from 22nd. He's got his work cut out for him in that number 40 machine. Christian Barnes starting 23rd in that 27. Michael Cole will be 12th, and Gino Volante on his birthday will start on the 25th position. You can see the rest of the starting lineup scroll across on the left-hand side of the screen. And folks, what you will notice happening right now, the pole sitter has stayed out on the apron. They have left a spot open up in honor of Greg Biffle, the driver of the number 60 and 16 machine, who tragically earlier today lost his life along with his family in a plane crash in North Carolina. We want to pause and recognize him and his family. He was a champion, a fierce competitor, and a name that meant, I know, a great deal to a lot of us. I grew up, and some of the first memories I have of watching NASCAR were watching the Busch Series, and that number 60, Greg Biffle, just dominated. Please join us now in a moment of silence for Greg Biffle and his family. All right, they're going to gather the field back up and close that honorary gap that we left for Greg Biffle. Chris, you're on top of that pit box. 30 drivers, essentially, 28 drivers starting tonight. What advice do you have for your driver, if you have any, for these first couple of laps in what is likely going to be an incredibly chaotic race here at Bristol?
Be ready for some loose conditions on these race cars. You want to make sure that you're definitely trying to keep that right rear underneath you. Don't spin the tires. Don't buzz the tires on corner exit. And try to make sure that you can keep that car straight right here for the opening lap.
Opening lap is moments away. That pace car makes the left-hand turn. The flagman waves the green. We're racing at Bristol. 5 races left in the regular season. A little bit of contact there up at the top of the track. Honeycutt and the number 60 of Evan Janik, they get it cleanly. That's the battle for the lead. Honeycutt and that black and white machine running that second groove with Janik, sticking to the bottom as they complete lap number 1.
Yeah, Evan Janik trying to search around right here. You got multiple lanes that you can work with here at Bristol. We'll see which one comes in handy as the race goes on right here. But Evan Janik peeking to the inside of Donnie Honeycutt, deciding not to push the issue.
Collects Tyler Merkel. Big crash across the start-finish line. Healy involved in that crash as well. It started with Gavin Henson loose off of turn number 4. It looked like it was happening, or at least building, for a half a lap or so.
Yeah, Matthew Hill involved. You also have Blaze Baker involved. And I think that we'll go back right here to see. It definitely started with Gavin Henson, and there was some contact further back. A single car incident turned into a lot more. That's Gavin Henson in the number 39 on the outside right here. He tags the wall right there in 3 and 4. Gets sideways, gets loose, down the hill into Tyler Merkel. Contact between David Moyer, Matthew Hill, Brandon Veast just barely getting by. Unfortunately, Blaze Baker is not going to be able to get by. Some significant damage to the number 40 machine.
We have our first caution of the night, and Chris, I was just starting to think that things were going okay and were relatively tame for the first couple of laps at a Bristol race. If anyone's not surprised by that, though, it is Connor. He called a crash on lap number 3 before the green flag even came out, Chris. And this guy, we love Connor, but he has a knack for predicting the future, and usually not in a great way. Connor, we're glad you could join us tonight. Also, Vince Short in the chat as well. Appreciate everyone who is joining into the YouTube chat. Working caution number 1 right now. Donnie Honeycutt marked as your leader. Evan Janik second. Folks, if you are tuning in and you have not said hi in the chat, go ahead, hit the hi. H-I. Just hit hi. Let us know who you're rooting for. We are excited that you joined us. In fact, we're so excited we're going to be giving away a free Brad Keselowski diecast. He's no slouch at Bristol. Won a couple races here and almost won a few more. It's a good-looking King's Hawaiian paint scheme. Let us know who you're rooting for in the chat. We're going to choose one lucky viewer at the end of the evening to send that diecast to. Right now, working caution number 1 for that incident involving Gavin Henson. Just want to talk about Henson, Chris. We are not used to seeing kind of the mistakes that Gavin's made, and we've seen a couple of those over the course of this season, including one at Texas, got caught up in some stuff at Martinsville. Really the highlight of the season for that number 39 has been that second-place finish at Rockingham about 3 weeks ago. He's gathered it back up. He's got it out on the track again, but he's going to have some work to do if he's going to work himself back into the playoff picture with kind of a rocky start to this season. Chris, no drivers came down pit road here. I think we're getting ready for the green flag again. Everyone kind of, unless you had damage, opting to hang on to those tires.
Yeah, they did right there. Gavin Henson, a little bit of damage right here. We'll have to see how that affects the handling of the 39. We also had another car spin further back in the field. Michael Cole was further back, and he spun like in a separate incident. And yeah, it's just very, very treacherous out there. I think loose conditions, Ellis, is going to be the story of the night. These O'Reilly, it's hard for me to say it, these O'Reilly Auto Parts cars right here, they are difficult to drive around Bristol with these tiny rear spoilers. So, yeah, not a lot of downforce on these cars tonight.
Man, you're better than me. I'm still calling it the Busch Series. Right now, Jacob Cochran and Donnie Honeycutt front row. The restart. Janik with a head of steam almost into the back of that number 22. They've got Michael Wade and the number 16 machine on top there in the second row, and it's going to be Jacob Cochran who gets away cleanly. Donnie Honeycutt and the number 16 of Michael Wade laid chase, and Wade's got that high line going right now that Henson was trying to work in just a couple of laps ago. Hopefully he's able to make it work a little bit better though.
Yeah, hopefully he is able to right here. And yeah, we got Donnie Honeycutt right here trying to work to the inside, but Michael Wade has the momentum right here on the top lane in that number 16. That car is looking really, really stout right now.
Some other cars looking pretty stout right now as we watch that battle for second place. It's too wide back around 10th and 11th. Enoch Hancock and Dan Berg side by side in that number 1 and 48 machine. As they cross the line, you can see the too wide racing has started just a little bit further back in the pack. I'm observing drivers give each other a lot of space right now as they work their way by that lap down car in 28th position. But yeah, Chris, I'm really, one car head on into the front stretch wall. That was the number 55 of Vince Short. We remain under green flag conditions. The back of the field is going to work their way around that number 55 who might be compromised by damage here. And there is the caution. We might have another incident on the racetrack. I'm not sure if we do. They might have just brought it out for the number 55. It might be a lucky break, Chris.
Yeah, very well might be. I'm going to try to go back right here and see if I can see anything that might have... No, we did have another incident as well with the 79 of Harold Tucker. I do have the replay of the incident with Harold Tucker if we want to go side by side here. We might be able to see what happened to the 79 of Harold. He had some speed earlier in the night right here. Yeah, that car got loose right here from the top lane. Looks like the top lane's a little bit dicey right now. He got it around right there. Did a nice job of keeping that thing out of the inside retaining wall. But yeah, a little bit tough break here early on, but he can still recover from this.
He can still recover. One driver that's been working on recovering, we're going to see if we can get him in the booth. Gavin Henson, involved in that first incident. We're going to bring him in from Waterforce Racing here. Hey, Gavin Henson, this is Ellis, Chris, and Cam up in the Slingshot TV booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Hey, man, well, I know it's not the circumstances that we were hoping to hear from you as you work your way down pit road. We'll give you a second to kind of roll yourself into your pit stall. You getting some damage repaired. That high line's a little treacherous tonight, it looks like.
Definitely is.
Well, if it makes you feel better, yeah, you weren't the only one. All right, well, we'll let you get back to it. I know we had promised you we would pull you in. We'll be rooting for you and get that 39 to get back up into the front as you get some damage repaired. We'll throw you back into the Waterforce Racing Discord. Good luck out there, Gavin.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes, sir. All right, so as he gets his damage repaired, drivers continue to work their way around the track. Currently, your leader scored as P1, Jacob Cochran, with Michael Wade, who's climbed from fourth to second. And that's been no easy feat with some of the speed that we've seen these drivers exhibiting so far, Chris, over the course of these first several laps. Just wanted to look at how Michael Wade's season has gone over the course of the first 8 races. Pulling up my stats for Michael Wade, and of course, he's a little difficult to find here. App not exactly cooperating, but yeah, Michael Wade, in fact, not showing up in my stats at all, so I'm not sure. I don't think this is his first race of the season. He's been running that number 16 machine. We've seen him before. I'm not sure what's going on there, but right now, cars really locking back in, getting the grid set up here, double file as we try to go green flag racing. Couple cautions in the first several laps of this race. We are currently marked as 17 laps in. Pace car to be getting ready to pull off here, Chris.
Yep, and his pace car is going to pull off right here. Jacob Cochran is elected to take the inside lane right here, and he's going to launch.
Cochran takes the green flag. He was the control car. Evan Janik slides into second, taking that position away from Michael Wade. Meanwhile, Donnie Honeycutt in the number 46 of Bradley Minor, gunning for fourth position. It's side by side, while the 16 of Michael Wade tries to work his way back up to the top of the track and back up into second position. But look out, Ryan Bittler in that number 9 machine, after a tough break at the end of the Watkins Glen race last week, has climbed his way into the 6th position. We got another caution out on the track, and I believe that very well might have started. Let's see if we can find out who it started with. Caution is out.
I think it's going to be Gino Volante maybe in the 35 car. I think Gino had some trouble in turns 1 and 2, it looks like.
Yeah, that number 35 machine in trouble early. And, Chris, we just haven't been able to hit our stride here with Gino Volante and several other cars kind of fallen victim to the early case of the spins here at Bristol. We'll try to gather the replay on that. But while we're doing that, Chris, how difficult does it make it for a driver to get locked in with, these kind of just sequential cautions one after another?
Yeah, it's very difficult right here. And, Cam, I do have the crash right here with Gino. If we want to go side by side, it's difficult, and Gino's also got some damage to the rear bumper, which does cause that car to be even freer. You can see it right there as he goes around, unfortunately, and he's going to avoid any contact right here. Well, he actually does make a little bit to the inside wall, so yeah, it's very difficult with all the cautions to get in that rhythm. I think that if we ran some green flag laps, I think that we could get some separation between some of these cars.
We'll see if we can get some more green flag laps here momentarily. Under caution for the 3rd time tonight on lap number 21 of 200. Folks, we got to pay some bills around here. We're going to hit a very quick commercial break. Not going to be gone for long. You're not going to miss any green flag action. We'll be back after we hear from our partners here at the Downtown Auto Sales Series, Downtown Auto Sales. We'll be right back. If you're shopping for dependable used cars in Cumming, Georgia, start with the team you can trust, Downtown Auto Sales, right at 208 Atlanta Road. They've got something for every driver, reliable daily commuters, family SUVs, even upscale luxury options, all priced fairly and backed by a 4.6-star Google rating. The staff is friendly, process is easy, and if they don't have exactly what you're looking for, their car locator service will track it down for you. They're open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6, and Saturdays until 4. Stop by or give them a call at 470-239-8979. Downtown Auto Sales. Quality cars, zero hassle. Is downtime costing your fleet money? And check out Diesel Laptops, the industry leader in diesel diagnostics since 2014. From rugged handheld scanners to mobile apps and full repair databases, they give you the tools to read the codes, run DPF regens, and fix issues fast on your phone, tablet, or laptop. Fix more, worry less, keep trucking. Visit diesellaptops.com. Back here live in Bristol. Green flag is out on the track. We're once again racing here in Thunder Valley. The number 8 machine, that's Jacob Cochran. He is your leader. Evan Janik second. Michael Wade third. The battle is on for 4th position. That's Bradley Minor and Donnie Honeycutt. 2 great cars going at it, making it difficult. We'll talk about what's also difficult out here shortly, but that's a battle for the 4th position. Outside line, Chris, it's been treacherous tonight. How nervous are you watching that number 46 of Bradley Minor work his way around in that upper groove?
Yeah, it's definitely treacherous. You want to try to make sure. Oh, we got contact. 1 car in the wall. That's the number 7 of Justin Harris. Oh, he gets hit by more cars.
Enoch Hancock, the number 13, the number 24 for in Gavin Henson. Several cars slide into that catastrophic moment. I believe David Moyer was in that as well. And boy, and Enoch Hancock, a little bit of extracurricular contact as he turns another car on the track after all this is over. And yeah, let's see what exactly happened here to put us under caution number 4 so quickly.
Yeah, Enoch Hancock got to the outside of Justin Harris. Looks like Justin didn't know. David Moyer came in there and just could not avoid those guys. There's the contact. Left front to right rear. Justin Harris turned head on into the wall. Brandon V some contact. Dan Berg some contact as well as they came back down the hill right there. And yes, super unfortunate. This is just another example, Ellis, of how a 1 or 2 car incident can get turned into several cars, just because of how fast it is here at Bristol. We're going to go back, Ellis, and see if we can figure out what you were talking about. Some extracurricular maybe going on with Enoch Hancock. I'm trying to find it right here.
Yeah, I think it happened right as everyone was kind of gathering it back up. He looked like he got into the back of the car. I'm not sure if he was showing his displeasure or that number 1 machine was just broken.
Yeah, Cam, if we want to go side by side right here, I think that we have that little extracurricular. So the contact initiated there is Enoch. He's already crashed right there with Gavin Henson. The initial contact occurred between these cars, and yeah, this is afterwards, and I think Enoch was a little frustrated with Justin Harris possibly, and turned Justin after the caution flag came out right there. So I'm sure that race control probably will not like that too much.
Yeah, these things, they can happen, and tempers often come out at short tracks. Unfortunately, Enoch Hancock manually disconnected. His day is done. Right now, your leader is scored. As I believe, looking at my stats, the number 60 machine of Evan Janik, who took over the lead from the number 8 of Jacob Cochran over the course of those first couple of laps. Folks, got a challenge for you down there in the chat. Let us know who you think is going to win this race tonight, and a lot still left to be determined. Hit the driver number, or hit the hashtag number symbol, then put your driver's number. You can find them on the left-hand side of the screen. Hit that enter button, get your entry in, throw some extra points your way, and potentially work your way up in the standings to win that Brad Keselowski diecast we're giving away tonight. Let us know who you're rooting for in the chat. It's going to be a restart, Chris. Two cars that are almost identical. The Greg Biffle paint schemes, as touching as they are, have added just a touch of difficulty tonight in calling this race. So we're going to do our best, and we love seeing those 3M and other Greg Biffle-inspired tribute paint schemes out there tonight. Right now, pretty beautiful picture. The 8 and the 60 rocking the same scheme. They both rock the restart. They both rock themselves into each other, with the 8 and the number 60 of Evan Janik almost coming to blows there incidentally on that restart. If anything, it's allowed the number 16 of Michael Wade to really channel some energy into that outside groove, working his way up at least 3 positions as they cross the line here on lap number 32.
Yeah, Michael Wade, Ellis, has been one of the drivers we've seen working the higher lane, and one of the drivers who's been able to work it fairly well. I think that the speed just isn't quite there tonight like it has been in the past here in some Bristol races. But that's been the most stable car I've seen, Ellis, on that top lane tonight. And he's definitely trying to make it work right here, working to the outside of Jacob Cochran, possibly.
Yeah, Michael Wade has that outside groove going out. Chris, I'd imagine the longer you go on tires and the more heat and pressure that you build up into those, the more stable that thing is going to be. On the outside, you just got to be careful. You could definitely see that Michael Wade likely lifted that throttle just a little bit as he angled his way back down the track to try to get out of the corner in order not to hook the right rear of that number 8 machine of Jacob Cochran. Again, this is a battle going on for the second position.
Sideways!
Oh,
hang on to it, Michael.
Michael Wade, Chris, we had just talked about it. No damage, I believe, on that number 16 machine, but the danger is no less as the number 16 puts us under caution. Number 5 here on lap number 35 of 200. And Chris, once again, the outside line strikes back.
Yeah, it does. It's just really, really treacherous up there. But Michael did a great job of not, overcorrecting there. He got that thing sideways. And yeah, he just did a great job of being able to maintain. We'll definitely watch the job that he does here. That's Michael in the third position right here. He's running the top lane right here. Here they're going to work their way through off of turn 2. That thing gets sideways. He cuts the wheel to the right, spins it back to the right, locks it down, wheel back to the left to straighten it back up, releases the brakes. That's a great job of driving right there to not just come across the traffic and come across the racetrack in front of traffic, but to also keep it out of the inside retaining wall. So great job of driving right there by Michael.
Several moments for several drivers as we work caution number 5. And Chris, we're just about 15 laps away now, 14 laps away for the conclusion of stage number 1. We got a couple drivers coming down pit road here, it looks like, to the attention of their crew, but I would suspect that most other drivers, with the fuel window that we have tonight, about 85 laps, are going to wait for that first stage to end before they come down pit road. Is there any value you find, unless you've got some damage right now?
I think that definitely this is a good time if you do have the damage, and that's what I'm seeing right here. I'm seeing Matthew Hill. I'm seeing Justin Harris. Some of these drivers that were in some of the earlier incidents. I think that's definitely a good time to do it. With all the cautions that we've had right here, Ellis, I would definitely maintain the track position if, I still had a clean car out here, and, take the guaranteed caution at the stage break to, put 4 tires on it then. So, I think that I think track position wins out over anything else right now.
Yeah, I think you're. I'm not a great race strategist, but I think most of us are probably going to agree with that call. Evan Janik currently marked as your leader. And Chris, let's take a moment to look at that number 60 over the course of the season. 4 races run, but boy, it has been a heck of a season. Daytona finished 10th. Texas finished 3rd, Las Vegas 5th, but he didn't get his win until race number 4 of his campaign at Watkins Glen. It was a dominant performance, led pretty much wire to wire at the Glen, his hometown track, and that Empire State Grand Prix last week. And I think it kind of established him as someone we had maybe been sleeping on a little bit, but he reminded us that he is here, and he is certainly a name that is going to have to be reckoned with over the course of these remaining 4 races of the regular season, and particularly in the championship championship playoffs. Right now, that pace car comes off down pit road. Bradley Minor right behind Evan Janik doesn't quite get the restart that the leader does, and Janik slides into first by about 4 or 5 car lengths. The battle now ensues. The 46 of Minor, the 8 of Jacob Cochran. They're side by side for the second place, and Adam Holston, for the first time tonight, is in the 5th position. Ooh. Top 5 for that 0-2, and Chris, you mentioned it. That was a big contact between Cochran and Minor.
Yeah, that could have been disastrous down the front stretch right there, but they kept it together right there as, Bradley Minor and Jacob Cochran came together right here. Minor fighting back hard right here on the outside. We've seen cars loose on that top lane all night.
There it is again!
He's going to hold on to it, though, Ellis. What a save for Bradley Minor. I think he's going to have some damage, though, to that right front.
Another car does the same thing. That's Mark Cofield in that number 97. Another great save. There's Harold Tucker right in front of them. It's almost like there's oil up on the track. How Harold Tucker gets it locked down. Drivers have to go around, but my goodness, what a series of events. 3 cars in less than a lap had trouble on that outside line. And Chris, if I'm a crew chief, I'm telling my driver, you better stay on that bottom line, because every single one of those 6 caution flag incidents that we've seen tonight have been the result of a driver losing grip and traction on the exit of one of those corners.
Yeah, definitely. These O'Reilly Auto Parts cars, Ellis, we ran them here at Bristol in Slingshot Racing League a few seasons back, and they were very, very treacherous then. Very, very loose, and I had wondered if we were going to have the same thing tonight, and it definitely seems like that's what's happening right here with these cars. They are very, very difficult to manage around here, and it seems like the top lane has gotten worse here at Bristol in recent updates. And I think that it's going to be, if you want to try to, get around somebody, you got to attack this like the Bristol of old, possibly, if you're going to be able to, find your way to victory lane here tonight.
I think you are certainly correct in that. Now, I am curious. We've got 5 laps remaining here in stage number 1. Stage 1 ends at lap number 50. I am curious to see if we go racing for a lap or 2 and then we get another stage caution. I think they're probably bound to that. I think it's difficult, with the amount of cautions we've seen tonight, but they have promised drivers that there'll be a caution flag on lap number 50. So these cautions, I swear, they just tend to fall right at the end of stages, and certainly tonight at Bristol has seen its fair share of cautions. Folks in the chat right now, we got Chad CR932 saying earlier on tonight, highlight reel evade by Ryan Bittler in that 9, and Bittler's having a good run in 5th. Yeah. This is certainly looking like his best run of the season, and really coming off of last week, really had a decent run going, but got in trouble late there after running in the top 10 at Watkins Glen, having to settle for a finish outside the top 15, but certainly back tonight, not letting that really deter him from trying to have a good run and showing that speed out there. And it's really been a story of growth, I think, over the course of the season for Bittler. Just looking at his finishes as we've gone racing, he is been on a bit of a downward slide since Pocono coming into Watkins Glen, but Daytona, Vegas, Texas, Martinsville just got better and better every single week. So shout out to the number 9 of Ryan Bittler with a great run going and slowly kind of working his way into the championship conversation. As we get ready for some green flag racing once again. This is going to give us a 3-lap shootout here to get to lap number 50 in stage number 1. There goes Evan Janik in the 60, and then Adam Holston in that 0-2 finds himself in 2nd place. Now battling Jacob Cochran. It's Donnie Honeycutt and Ryan Bittler not too far behind, with Tyler Merkel in the number 6 machine in 6th currently. The battle's on for 2nd. Cochran and the number 0-2 of Adam Holston do battle.
Yeah, we've noticed right here in the last couple restarts, Jacob Cochran has elected to restart 3rd. He does not want to be on that top lane right here. He wants to line up right behind Evan Janik as they are working their way right here on the final lap of stage 1.
And I can't say that I blame the driver of that number 8 machine at all. So far, it's worked out to success for him right now, working the last lap of stage number 1. They come across the start-finish line. It's going to be Janik, Cochran, Holston, Honeycutt, and Bittler. Those are your top 5 finishers. The top 10 will receive points towards their playoff championship hopes as they end stage number 1 here in Thunder Valley at Bristol. It was Minor 6th, Merkel 7th, Barnes, V's, and Bieber round out your top 10. And Travis Bieber starting on, drop back, I believe. Chris, remind me, brain shut down here for a minute. He qualified in the pole, I thought.
He did, but he received an EOL at the beginning of the race. So, he started from the back of the field. So we know that 23 is going to be fast. If he can just, maintain his car condition and not get that thing tore up, I think that he might be somebody that you have to contend with, as it looks like, we got a little bit of a split decision here, Ellis. We got several drivers electing to stay out. Donnie Honeycutt, Bradley Minor, Tyler Merkel among those electing to stay out, while Evan Janik, Jacob Cochran, and company come to pit road.
This is an interesting call, but Chris, I can't say that I don't necessarily like the call, or I don't dislike the call to stay out on the track.
I don't either.
Because we've seen the amount of carnage so far just in the first stage. I think you're really putting yourself in a good position to avoid that, and I think that's probably what is on these drivers' minds, probably predicting also that we're going to have another caution before we get to that 85-lap pit window.
Yeah, this is going to put Evan Janik and Jacob Cochran into the mess, if you will. They're going to be a little bit further back in the field, and some drivers like Harold Tucker, I know he spun earlier, Matthew Hill, they came to pit road on the previous caution. They're going to be in front of these guys. Alex Pollock came to pit road 15 laps ago, and we haven't had too many green flag laps. I definitely think Donnie Honeycutt, Bradley Minor, Tyler Merkel, they're going to be a little bit off the pace from these drivers on new tires, but I don't think it's going to be, a significant margin because we haven't had a lot of green flag laps. So I agree with you. I like the call right here. I think that, if we continue with the pace of cautions that we've had, I think they can make it to the end of stage 2 without coming to pit road, maybe.
Yeah, I think you could be on to something there that some other drivers are probably thinking about right now. Working our first stage caution. We've had our fair share of non-stage cautions, unfortunately, over the course of the first 50 laps. Chris, I'm curious, as these drivers take the one to go, what Greg Biffle paint scheme kind of comes to mind when you think about the Biff in that, whether it's the 16 or the 60 machine?
Yeah, I'm going to go all the way back to the NASCAR Busch Series, as you mentioned earlier. Yeah, the Granger number 60. Mm-hmm. I always thought that was just a really nice looking ride. We were both very, very young when Greg Biffle was driving that car. I was a big Mark Martin fan, so Greg Biffle was the one who replaced him in the number 60. So I kind of always rooted for him because of that. So that's a great looking ride. I definitely, that one always comes to mind for me when I think about Greg Biffle. But as you said, there are all kinds of great options out there.
Yeah, I agree. I like that Busch series or O'Reilly Auto Parts series, similar to that truck he had a couple years before he moved up to the O'Reilly Auto Parts series. While we're waiting to go green, quick joke in the chat. Looks like Connor Lyons with his awesome jokes is going Christmas theme this week. What's Santa's favorite state? Oh, I don't know. Chris, stew on that one for a minute. Folks in the chat, if you got any ideas before Connor throws us the answer, let us know what's Santa's favorite state. Right now, I know these drivers, oh boy, Idaho, ho. Oh, gee. That one's left me speechless, but we do have to cover the restart here. Tyler Merkel on the outside, Chris. He's going to try his hand. Donnie Honeycutt, the leader, takes the green flag. These cars have remained out on track for that track position. Tyler Merkel taking it easy on the outside line, allows Bradley Minor in that number 46 to crawl to the inside of him. It shoots Merkel back to third, and Chris, you mentioned a little bit of contact. Further back in the pack, Harold Tucker gets it into the wall on that outside line. He gathers it back up, but slides back down into traffic, and that gets Bieber heel, and looks like Vince Short caught up in that collision as well.
Yeah, that started with Harold Tucker. You mentioned it. He's been struggling on that top lane, struggling to keep that car underneath him. And that's the number 79, the truest machine. I just got done talking, Ellis, about Travis Bieber. Man, if he can keep the fenders on that thing, we know that car is fast. Unfortunately, he's going to get caught up in this. Yeah, you see right there, Harold gets a little bit loose. He saved it, but then he got loose again, comes back down the hill, hooks the 23 in the right rear. Matthew Hill going by right there. It looks like he had some contact maybe with Vincent Short. So, yeah, a tough night for some of these drivers out here who've been involved in multiple crashes.
Yeah, tough night indeed for a lot of drivers out there. Folks, we got, oh boy, Santa's favorite state is Hawaii. Nothing to report from the pits here, guys, says Casey Bristow, our in-race reporter, who's done such a good job just covering the goings-ons in NSRLA, particularly the Downtown Auto Sales Series for us. It's been super helpful just to gather some of those storylines for us to follow. Folks, if you're watching at home and you have not hit that subscribe button to the channel, please, please, please do so. It is the best way you can support us here at Slingshot TV, and it doesn't cost you a single dime. It's just a free way that you can show your support and make sure you get every piece of content we put out and you get notified of that when it comes out and it gets thrown up on your feed so you can easily access it. Chris, I know we've got a new season of Truck Series tutorials coming out here for the start of the 2026 Season 1 for the C-Class Fix series on the iRacing officials. Aaron Smith, people tell us all the time that more so than anything else they've done, watching those videos has really given them the insight that they need to just get that much better and run further up front in those iRacing officials. So if you're on iRacing and you haven't checked those out, make sure you find them on our channel. And we've also got some other interesting content coming up here as well in the next few weeks or so. We'll talk more about that later. But right now, your leader is currently Donnie Honeycutt. Bradley Minor still second. Go ahead, Chris.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, Ellis. We do have a significant development right here in the race. The race controller has elected to change restarts to single file because of all the issues that we've been... Yeah, they've been having some significant issues right here navigating that top lane. It's really loose. I think this is a good call. I think that maybe some of the drivers are probably very relieved about this decision right here. So, yeah, we'll have to see how this works out now since we're going to single file restarts.
Yeah, I was just getting ready to make the point that we haven't really seen 10 consecutive laps of green flag racing. I think this is going to set us up for the opportunity to certainly get to lap 200. Just about 39 laps, 38 once we take the green. I think it's going to give us a good opportunity, knock on wood. Don't want to count our chickens before they hatch, certainly, but things are looking up here after we got caught in the case of the doldrums here for the first 60 laps or so. But right now, that pace car going to make that hard left turn. Donnie Honeycutt, a man alone on the front row, is going to bring us back under green flag conditions. Bradley Minor second. Look out, Tyler Merkles in third. One car climbs the banking quickly further back. That's Adam Holston in the 8th position looking for more.
Yeah, Holston got under some pressure right there from Evan Janik, the top lane, and we're already too wide. That didn't take long as, Adam Holston trying to work the top lane. Evan Janik behind him trying to follow suit and work his way around Ryan Bittler.
Isn't there a saying about race car drivers being stubborn? I think we just saw that out of Adam Holston and a couple other drivers. And we are under caution. That is Brandon Vees in the number 65. Brett Wren and Christian Barnes also caught up in that. And I believe that did start, maybe not with the 65. We're going to take a closer look at that.
It did start with the 65. The 65 and the 27 did make some contact up here in the top 5. That is Brandon Vees and Christian Barnes. This is around the 3rd position, if I'm not mistaken, 3rd or 4th position. Barnes to the outside right there. Yeah, there's some net code right there. They might have made contact anyway, but man, that was some significant damage right there. I think that was Brett Wren in one of those Greg Biffle tributes right there, making some significant contact with those cars as they came back down the hill, and several cars getting some I'm sorry, that was not Brett Wren. That was Alex Pollock. Wren was also involved, though. So that's very unfortunate right there for a couple of those Black Diamond teammates right there getting caught up in it.
Caution number 8. We're working it right now on lap 67. We got a few green flag laps in, but some drivers said, hey, you don't want us to go up top. We're still going to do it because, hey, that's what race car drivers do. Whether they're on a virtual track or a real track, we see a couple of cars come down pit road. Speaking of problems, I think this is a good opportunity to just transition into trivia question we got going on for tonight. We're going to put it on the bottom of the screen, folks. You can play along at home. The question for tonight: what unusual problem did Bristol officials have have to solve when the track first switched to concrete back in 1992. 1992. Is it A, B, C, or D? Make sure you type hashtag or the number sign, then your letter choice. Was it concrete dust was coating nearby towns after the race? B, the track was too fast for existing NASCAR timing equipment? C, tires were melting instead of wearing normally? Or D, drivers were getting sunburn from the glare off the surface? Let us know if you think it's A, B, C, or D. That question is going to be scrolling across the bottom of the screen. Make sure to hit that hashtag or the number sign, the pound sign, right before you type in your answer. So hashtag A, hashtag B, hashtag C, and so on, depending on what your guess is. Connor, hit the hashtag sign. Hit the hashtag sign. Don't just type C. You got to hit that pound sign, buddy. Hit the pound sign. It's not going to register if you don't hit it. We got a little automated system, so it's a little bit temperamental. Right now, working caution, number 8, Donnie Honeycutt, Bradley Minor, still your leaders. And Chris, that call to maintain track position is looking pretty good right now.
Yeah, I agree with it. I think that, yeah, they're definitely on to something here. I know that was probably a very, very dicey moment for some of those drivers a little bit further back. Evan Janik elected to come to pit road right there with that caution. That's going to put him a couple of spots behind Jacob Cochran now. So, yeah, I definitely think that was a good call right here. Hopefully we can get some green flag laps here to the end of stage 2.
And here we go. We don't have to wait. Pace car pulls off. Donnie Honeycutt gets us going once again. Single file for the first top 10. Brandon V's comes out on the track. Got to be careful not to get it above that yellow line. Single file racing. You got to go all the way back. One car up into the wall. That's around 15th. I believe that was the 21 of Andy Berry. In that National Guard paint scheme, scraped the wall coming off of that corner. Gets it gathered back up, and he might have seen enough. Comes down on the apron. Slow pace, and we are under caution once again on the speedway. This time, not sure who that was for. Looks like Mark Cofield in the number 97, Chris.
Yeah, Mark Cofield had some issues right there. It looks like in turns 1 and 2. We'll go back to see if we can figure out what happened with Mark. Mark's been on a nice little roll right here as of late, been running very fast, but it looks like that car is just going to get out from underneath him, get a little bit loose. You can see a little bit of damage to the rear bumper of the number 97 Chevrolet. And that's probably not helping the handling of that car that much right there. Car gets away from him, gets loose right here. Everybody's able to avoid, and yeah, he's going to be able to continue on here tonight.
So that's the good news. The bad news is we're working caution number 9. Here, just 72 laps in, we're averaging about 7 laps or so a green flag run, which I think may be less than ideal, unfortunately. But, you know, we might be able to find our sea legs here. We got another 27 laps before the end of stage number 2, and puts us into stage number 3, the final 100 laps or so. Folks in the chat, our question was, what was the major problem that Bristol was facing after switching to concrete in 1992? The answer to that question was dust flying through the air off the concrete, kind of soot and dust landing in other towns. No one got that one right, Chris. Does that surprise you? Did you know that?
I will be honest, I did not know that. When you started saying this question, I thought that we were going to go the direction of why did they switch from the asphalt to the concrete, which I do know the answer to that one.
Well,
it's because the asphalt kept on tearing up the asphalt here. You know, in the years prior. You know, if you ask a lot of drivers, Dale Earnhardt Jr., I know he's very vocal about this. He wishes they would go back to asphalt. You know, with modern technology, I think that we could avoid some of those issues here at Bristol. But yeah, they were tearing up the asphalt, and so they wanted to go something a little bit more durable, and so they chose concrete.
I think I could go back. I think a lot of these drivers might prefer that they switch back to asphalt after seeing the trouble these guys have been really struggling with all night long on that top groove. Every incident we've seen, for the most part, has been caused by just a lack of traction off the corner. And Chris, I got a question. Trying to get in the driver's head. You've seen these problems happen all night long. It's probably no secret that this is kind of what's putting us under caution. Why do drivers keep going up there? Help me understand that from a non-driver mentality for maybe the fans watching at home.
Well, some of the crashes, like the one we just saw, it hasn't necessarily been from drivers going to the top lane. It's just overall loose. I think the top lane is definitely more treacherous than the bottom, but it's just overall very free. And you want to attack here at the very beginning because this is the best time to make passes, so it's difficult to get out of that mindset.
Right now, Donnie Honeycutt in a leading mindset. We're back under green flag conditions, at least for the moment. Major stack up on the front straightaway. I believe that was number 33 of Dustin Lewis. After a fourth place run at Watkins Glen last week, finds himself sailing back to the back of the field in front of Matthew Healy and a couple other cars, including the most recent victim of caution, Mark Cofield. Everyone gets it gathered back up there in a hornet's nest near the back of the pack. That's sent looks like Dustin Lewis all the way back to the 15th position. And slowly, Chris, the field just winnows away every single caution. Now down to just 16 cars on the lead lap. And
wow,
boy, further up front, you saw it. That number 16 is he's testing his luck here.
Yeah, and that's fresh tires right there on the number 16 of Michael Wade. Got some of the freshest tires up here in the top 5, and you can see the speed difference right here. He's got a lot of confidence on that top lane. Some damage to the nose of that number 16. It's not holding him back, though, as he's rolling around the outside right here of Bradley Minor. He's got Donnie Honeycutt in his sights, and I think it's going to be very difficult for Donnie, as fast as Donnie is, to be able to hold off the fresh tires that Michael Wade currently possesses right there in the number 16.
I think you're getting ready potentially to see a battle for the lead in a matter of laps right now. In fact, I'm curious, can we get the battle box, producer Cam, on those first two cars and see kind of how those lap times compare? You can see at 3 laps right now that Wade is predicted to take to overtake the leader, Donnie Honeycutt. We'll see what it says across the line that time. Slowed down just a little bit that time by. Looked like Donnie Honeycutt had a slightly faster lap. But every time they cross the line, we'll be able to see kind of a comparison on what happens to that number. Michael Wade certainly going to fall back. That lap time is going to go even further back right now. I shouldn't say that. Maybe all that grip on the outside there maybe picked up a little pace.
Yeah, and I would say that running the top lane lap after lap after lap like this is going to kind of even these tires out. We've seen Donnie Honeycutt on the bottom quite a bit right here, putting a little bit more heat in those tires. Michael Wade really took off on that restart, but it seems like he's having a hard time maintaining that pace right here, the more and more green flag laps that we put on these tires. So we'll see if Michael decides to continue to stay up there, if maybe he switches to the bottom.
We'll see if he becomes a bottom feeder. So far, no sign, any indication that is going to happen. Looks like the good has worn off those tires as he worked his way up into the marbles up there at the very top of the track. It allowed Bradley Minor, and that number 46, great run for Bradley so far. He's been decently fast this entire season, but just looking kind of how his season has progressed, it kind of gone downhill from a really positive start, but Watkins Glen earned an 8th place finish, and it seems to have kind of put a little wind behind the sails right now for Bradley Minor, and that number 46 looking to get his championship campaign potentially back on track, as Minor currently sits, I believe, in the 9th position in points, so he would be in the playoffs right now in that number 46 machine. We watch Michael Wade, Chris, trying to hold off Ryan Bittler, who's maybe having his season's best run in that Greg Biffle 3M-inspired paint scheme right now.
Yeah, he definitely is having a great run right here. I wonder, Cam, if we might be able to go side by side right here to also show the battle going on right here around the 12th position. We got a hornet's nest back here with Justin Harris, Mark Cofield, Matthew Hill, Dustin Lewis. It is on right here as these drivers are trying to get up into the top 10, Ellis, to possibly get some stage points.
Yeah, we've just got about 10 laps left in stage number 2 here at Bristol. You're watching 2 battles go on. Right now you're watching a battle for the 3rd position of the top left hand of your screen. The bottom right hand of the screen, you've got a battle really going on for the 13th.
Dustin Lewis!
Dustin Lewis almost into the wall. I think he was able to stay out of the wall, Chris, but boy, that is kind of symptomatic of everything we've seen tonight.
Yeah, it is right there. A great save for him. Matthew Hill is sideways underneath Mark Cofield right here. This is the battle for the 13th spot. They make some contact down the backstretch right here. Rubbin is racing here at Bristol. Matthew Hill is going to let Mark Cofield eat. No, he didn't like that too much. And it's in the door in right there in the middle of 3 and 4.
Right, yeah, that is just Bristol racing at its finest, right? As we watch some beating and banging, some drivers using the chrome horn, patience running out here. Just 8 laps left in stage, now 7 laps left in stage number 2. Watching Ryan Bittler work that bottom line. That's on your top left hand of your screen. That's a battle going on for the 3rd position. The battle on the bottom right is a battle for the lead. We see Bradley Minor continuing to eat chunks out of the Donnie Honeycutt lead that he's been building since the restart about 10 laps ago. Honeycutt now with a mirror full of Bradley Minor as the battle for the lead intensifies. Less than a car length separate the leaders.
Yeah, it's very, very close right here for the lead right here. Also the battle for 3rd as well right here as we're approaching the final stages of stage number 2. Bradley Minor putting a lot of pressure on his teammate Donnie Honeycutt just up ahead right here. Got to wonder right here, what's he going to do? Is he going to race his teammate really hard for the stage win, or are they going to settle for maybe a 1-2 finish?
And don't count out Michael Wade or Ryan Bittler. Those cars have really come on strong here for the past couple of laps. Maybe that tire wear catching up with the front 2. Right now, just 3 laps, coming to 2 laps to go. It's a car length separating 1st and 2nd, 2 car lengths back to 3rd, and then less than a car length back to 4th position. You could throw a blanket over the top 4 here at Bristol. They come down to the white flag. Caution is out.
Trouble
we might
ahead.
have gotten it a little bit early, and that was Vince Short and the number 48 as well in trouble here on lap number 98. That should be the stage, and that was Dan Berg who was in that number 48 machine here. Caution number 10 at the end of stage number 2.
Yeah, that was close right there for one of our leaders. That's what kind of got my attention right there. Michael Wade was just barely able to get by. As we're going to watch the drivers right here. We're going to watch them as they cross the line here under caution. I do have the replay right here, Cam, if we want to maybe go double box and show what happened right here just in front of the leaders. We saw them really check up just in front. So this is Vincent Short. I think something happened up ahead of him as well. There's going to be some contact right there with Brett Wren, Mark Cofield into the driver's door. There goes Dan Berg getting by. He's going to make some contact. And watch Michael Wade right there just barely able to get by.
Save, maybe avoidance of the race. We thought we had that with Ryan Bittler earlier in the number 9, but go ahead and move the 16, or sorry, the 16 of Michael Cole Michael Wade, I should say, into that consideration for that award right now in that number 16 machine. Currently under caution for stage number 2's conclusion. You can see that the ticker on the left, top 10, all the way from Honeycutt all the way back to Harris in that number 7 machine. They are going to be receiving top 10 points here for the end of stage number 2 with just 4 races left after tonight in the regular season campaign before the playoffs begin. Every one of those points is at a premium, and it looks like drivers going to be coming down pit road here led by that number 22 of Donnie Honeycutt, who's led the most laps of this entire race. And Chris, this could be the last time we see these drivers on pit road, because I maybe this is not wishful thinking, but I think we're going to have at least one more caution before this thing finishes tonight with a fuel window of 85 laps. They could stay out and keep that track position, but maybe what they saw from Michael Wade just a little while ago, you never know.
Yeah, and, that was a very impressive run right there that we had in the closing stages of stage 2. So, yeah, the driver's going to come down pit road this time right here, to definitely fill these things up. And, yeah, this could be it. This very well could be it. I think if, we get enough cautions, which, I'm hoping that we have less cautions, no doubt about it. And from what we saw right there, I think these drivers are really starting to get this thing figured out. But with a few caution laps, I think that you're going to put yourself maybe in position right here to be able to make it to the end of this thing. So, for some drivers, this might be the final pit stop of the night, just depending on how this shakes out. I'd say that's, maybe less likely than actually coming to pit road at some point here, but definitely a possibility.
I think you are absolutely right. Drivers working their way back up onto the track after that set of pit stops. Donnie Honeycutt scored as your leader. Drivers kind of trying to sort things out here. We had a couple cars stay out. They were lap down cars, and the race control going to let this kind of just develop and percolate here, get these drivers back where they need to be on track as we get ready for what's going to be a critical restart. What could be the last time these drivers see each other as the green flag flies here. As you mentioned it, Chris, drivers starting to get it figured out just a little bit. Longest green flag run of the night we just saw there. Hopefully we're not going to regress here as drivers get ready for the green flag. 1 to go. Lights out on the Downtown Auto Sale Series pace car. I believe they're going to be crossing the line here one more time as we get ready for the green flag. Chris, you're on top of that pit box. What are you telling your driver here in what very well could be the last restart?
Yeah, we'll have to see right here on these new tires. You know, all these drivers here in the field are you know, they got fresh rubber, fresh Goodyear Eagles. We'll have to see right here how these opening laps go. If we're able to get through these opening laps without a caution flag, I'm going to be preaching to my driver to, you know, maintain pace right here. You don't want to give up track position, but you don't want to be destroying your tires trying to build up a huge gap. We just want to maintain the pace right here, try to manage the race as best as we can right here on this restart.
Pace car turns down, turning over the pace of the race to Donnie Honeycutt, who takes the green flag here on lap 106 of 200. Top 10 single file as we hit single file restarts earlier in this race. The first battle really looks to be almost a challenge back there for the 7th position. It's Michael Cole and Adam Holston. Jacob Cochran got a little bit of the wall there, falling back into the clutches of the number 9 of Ryan Bittler, but drivers minding their P's and Q's, at least for the moment. They're on their best behavior. The first driver I see to take it upstairs, Chris, number 7 of Justin Harris. That's back in the 10th position. Now he dives low on Tyler Merkel in that number 6 machine.
Yeah, Justin Harris, unfortunately, has been involved in some incidents tonight, so a lot of damage on that Chevrolet, but it's not stopping him from moving forward right here. Battle on for the 9th spot right here. We got caution on the Speedway.
That is a caution. Number 12 on the Speedway. We'll see if we can't track down where that whole incident started. I'm not necessarily seeing it. Maybe Jordan Ives, potentially.
Yeah, that was Jordan Ives in the number 31. Looks like he has towed the car, went back to pit road. Yeah, there is Jordan right there in the number 31. We're going to go back right here to see if we can see what happened to Jordan. I think that this is a situation right here where he just got a little bit free right here off of turn number 4. Yep, this looks like exactly what happens. And he just, as you can see right here, we're going back a little too far.
He's stuck in reverse.
Yeah, he's stuck in reverse. Yeah, he exited the pit road right here on fresh tires, and man, that thing got out from underneath him. It didn't take him too long before he got sideways. You see that right rear damage? Jordan is currently being shown as 6 laps down in the race right here, and yeah, that thing just snapped right around on him, as you're going to see right here.
Well, this really likely puts us closer to that window, Chris, of potentially being able to make it on fuel. I think we haven't seen our last caution of the evening. And speaking of cautions, we're going to take this moment to hear from our partners at Whiplash Sim Cams, who make every single angle that our producer Cam is gracing you with tonight. They make it possible. You can check out their link in our video description. We'll be right back. You're not going to miss a moment of green. Back here live from the virtual Bristol Motor Speedway. You're looking at first and second, working the 12th caution of the evening. Bristol, known for carnage, known for chaos. We've certainly seen our fair share of it tonight, folks. I'm Ellis Thomas, joined by Chris Smith and Cam Gillens in the Slingshot TV booth. We are getting ready for the restart, and Chris, do I believe my eyes? They've changed it back. Things were going so well. Things were going so well. And the race director is going to race direct. I was feeling pretty good about those single file restarts, but the field has been winnowed as well. So
it has, and as we get down into the closing stages of this thing, they want to make sure that drivers have the opportunity to be able to make up as much ground as they possibly can. So, the race director has elected to do this right here, and we're going to see how this all transpires right here.
Now, if they go caution, I'm not going to say I told you so. Right now, the green flag is back. That number 16 of Michael Wade on the outside scored as your leader, Donnie Honeycutt, inches from that left rear quarter panel of Wade. They avoid catastrophe here on lap at number 114. One car up the track. That's Evan Janik back into the top 2 or 3 for the first time in nearly a quarter of the race. He's doing battle with Donnie Honeycutt and Bradley Minor. Throw a blanket over those. Minor almost in the back of Honeycutt.
Yeah, almost some contact right there between those two teammates as Evan Janik able to make the outside lane work right there, following race leader Michael Wade around Donnie Honeycutt.
Dustin Lewis across the start-finish line puts us under caution. Number 13 here at Bristol Motor Speedway. That 33 sideways, high, wide, and handsome off of turn number 4. He's going to put us under caution here.
Yeah, this is actually an opportunity right here to talk about this yellow line and the apron because, he got the left sides down there on the apron. Car got out from underneath him, got loose, got sideways. Fortunately for Dustin, he does not make any contact with that inside retaining wall. That apron definitely will upset the handling of that car right there. He gets sideways right there and able to hold on to it, lock it down right there. Good job of driving right there by Dustin, and he's going to be able to keep on fighting here.
Yeah, and Dustin, really, it's been a tough night for him. He's had a lot of speed, but just want to, talk about last week at Watkins Glen. It was the race of the season for Dustin Lewis. So you've seen him have speed, but hasn't always gotten the finish that I think that he maybe deserves. Kind of after getting involved in some later race incidents, or maybe in the case of Pocono, some early on incidents. But just looking through his season so far, Pocono 22nd, Martinsville 12th, Las Vegas 22nd before that. Watkins Glen and Daytona kind of been the highlight of driver number 33's season. I think the rear bumper that you're seeing right now is kind of illustrative or one big metaphor for how that season for the number 33 has gone so far. Good race at Watkins Glen, maybe looking to back that up here tonight. And he's still in the top 15, so he very well could do it. We know damage doesn't play as much of a role here in Aero as it would at a place like Daytona or Talladega.
Yeah, it does not. It can affect the handling. It can make you a little bit looser depending on where it is. I think for Dustin, his is not as significant as some of the other drivers that we've seen out here on the track tonight. It looks a little bit rough for several of our drivers, but he's able to keep on going right here, and he is currently listed, Ellis, as I believe the first car one lap down. So Dustin's not out of this thing yet. He can get the lucky dog, get back on the lead lap right here, and he can maybe grab a few spots right here before the end of this thing. Nobody right now has got a better view than that number 16 car, Michael Wade, out front.
Michael Wade and the number 16 scored as your leader. You can see some cars duck down to the inside. Donnie Honeycutt looking to be the first car to go to the outside. That's a gutsy call by Michael Wade. Being the leader to stay up top shows his confidence in running that high line. If anyone has been fast doing it tonight, it's definitely been him.
Yeah, and the leader has a significant advantage here on the restart if they are the outside control car. I always like to be the outside control car here at Bristol. Now, I know the handling's not great on the outside lane, but if you can get back down to the bottom, especially by the exit of turn 2, you're going to be golden right here. But yeah, we'll watch how this goes right here. I guarantee you he'll probably get a pretty good jump right here in that position.
80 laps to go. They go by fast here, 4 laps a minute, and that's the 16 of Michael Wade jumping out to the lead. He's got the whole shot. Meanwhile, the battle for second ensues between Evan Janik, that red and white machine, up at the top of the track as he climbs the banking. Donnie Honeycutt laying battle down to the inside. That's 60. Mark him P2. Janik now continues his march to claim back-to-back wins after winning last week at Watkins Glen. We've got another caution for drivers to contend with. It looks like Vince Short in trouble once again here in turn number 3.
Yeah, Vincent Short in the number 55. Trouble right there. And I think the contact is going to be on the exit of turn number 4. We can see him right there to the inside of the 0-2 of Adam Holston. There's Vincent Short right there in the 55. He's going to slide up right here on the exit of the corner right there. Yep, just slides up into, a little bit of net code right there between those drivers, between the 55 and the 0-2. I think they were going to make some contact anyway, possibly, but because they got super, super close right there. Just, a little bit more room probably need to be given right there on the exit of the corner between the 55 and the 0-2.
One thing I'm going to be keeping my eye on, Chris, is I think we might be kind of entering into an interesting potential strategy play as this final run continues on. I'm looking at maybe drivers continuing to stay out, and late in the race with maybe a 20-lap shootout, maybe a driver takes a gamble as the rest of the field stays out. We saw Michael Wade really be able to use new tires to his advantage. Is that something, if you're on top of the pit box or in that driver's seat, have you started to think about a scenario where maybe if you're running at the back of the top 10, it might be a way to vault your way up front late in the race?
Yeah, I think that's definitely a good call if you were somewhere around, 6th, 7th,
Stop it.
Yeah, if you're in the back half of the top 10, I definitely think that's a good time, a good place to be able to make that gamble. I think it's going to be really hard if you are somebody like Michael Wade, Evan Janik, to make that call. I think that maybe, you probably don't want to do that if you are one of them. But yeah, I definitely agree with the call if you're in the back half of the top 10.
Interesting note here in the chat from our in-race reporter, Casey Bristow. Christian Barnes' second DNF in a row. Yeah, really very last lap, I believe, or near the end of the race, Christian Barnes struggled off at the final corner at Watkins Glen and found himself, entrenched in the pit road barrier. And for 2 weeks in a row, Christian Barnes out of the race early. And that's something we're not used to seeing out of the driver, that number 27 machine. So consistent over the course of his previous campaigns that we've been able to watch and broadcast. And just hasn't seen the same luck this season here in the Downtown Auto Sales Series. Right now, getting ready for a restart. 73 laps left from Thunder Valley, the Last Great Colosseum. These gladiators sword fighting here, dueling in the final stages. The sun is down, the lights are on, and we prepare for the final quarter, or the final half of this race. That is Michael Wade on the outside, Donnie Honeycutt on the inside. Wade gets the jump, bark him to P1. Meanwhile, Donnie Honeycutt's got a battle with Evan Janik, who climbs up to the banking in the second position. Janik with a head of steam gets off of turn 2 incredibly fast. He moves up to second, and big mover. Oh, Ryan Bittler, Tyler Merkel.
Oh.
Can they hold on to it? The number 7, and we are under caution once again. And the number 48 of Danberg involved. Dustin Lewis narrowly avoids that caution on lap number 128. And Chris, we just can't get a green flag lap in here.
We cannot right here. This is going to start right here between the 6 and the 9. Ryan Bittler in the 9 right here. He just charges in way too deep right here. Car gets sideways, gets loose. You saw the ground he made up on corner entry right there. Tyler Merkel spins in front of the field right there. Merkel makes some contact with Mark Cofield. You can see also the contact right there with Dan Berg. Heavy into that number 6 car. That mellow yellow machine taking a lot of damage. Justin Harris, I think, also took some damage in that incident as well. Some significant damage for some of those drivers. There's the contact right there for the number 7 of Harris. There's Dan Berg also piling in right there. So that was not a situation right there where a driver on the outside got loose. It was just a little bit maybe overzealous move right there for the number 9 of Ryan Bittler, who unfortunately will receive an end-of-the-line penalty for causing that caution.
Yeah, and had been running inside the top 10 before that happened. Bittler's really seen some consistent pace over the past 3 or 4 races. Now, drivers, several of them further back in the pack, going to be coming down pit road, but I believe both of those drivers have damage. Everyone else electing to stay out on the track right now, kind of cementing this fact that I think a lot of these drivers are going to be committed to getting through this race. And speaking of commitment, let's look at 6th position right now, because if you had told me at the beginning of the race that we would have been seeing Gavin Henson in that number 39 machine running up in the 6th position, I think I would have, not necessarily agreed with that sentiment. But boy, he's pulled it together. He's avoided a lot of the carnage and chaos, giving a little bit of a bump to number 43 of Michael Cole there. And yeah, kudos and shout out to Henson.
I agree. Yeah, and he's been, he's definitely been doing a good job of avoiding these crashes on track, and he has taken the opportunity to get a lot of the damage fixed on that 39. You can definitely see some scuff marks, a little bit of damage to the splitter right there, from the earlier crash that he was in. But I definitely think it's better than what it was earlier. And, obviously got a fair bit of speed right there in that number 39 Ford Mustang. So, Ryan's definitely fighting hard right here. And, the leaders right here taking the choose rule again. And Ellis, I do find it interesting that Evan Janik has been giving up the front row to restart behind the race leader. I think he recognizes the advantage the top lane has. It's a little treacherous for sure, but on the opening lap, the exit of turn 2, it's definitely a big advantage.
Yeah, and before we go green, has more tire wear, is more rubber built up on the outside? Is that a good thing for some of these drivers?
It definitely is probably giving them a little bit more confidence. It maybe isn't as treacherous as it was before.
Right now, drivers trying to avoid catastrophe on a treacherous restart here at Bristol in the closing laps. Brett Rinn sideways. Can they hold on to it? Somehow we stay under green as several drivers further back in the field really get stacked up, but the battle is on for the lead. That's Michael Wade and Evan Janik battling for the lead. Everything is settled down further back in the pack. Brett Rinn had a bit of a moment, as the kids say, but Michael Wade and Evan Janik still up front. That is your battle for the lead, and that has not diminished at all. Chris, you mentioned Evan Janik, surprised he's given up that front row, but also not surprised that the outside line has been the place to be on restarts. Janik's made that work 2 restarts in a row. Suddenly, he's eating on the inside.
Yeah, he's definitely making it work right here, and I think it's a good call, giving up the inside. It doesn't seem like it would be, for sure, but he's making it work right here, and I think that just having the advantage of being right behind the race leader and getting that launch off of turn 4 as they go through the gears on the restart is giving him an advantage. He's really loose right there in 1 and 2. Does a great job of holding on to it right there. That 60 car is on the gas right here, trying to get after Michael Wade, see what he can do with that number 16 car up ahead.
Yeah, and Chris, I want to point out one of the fastest cars on the track. Move him up to P4. You can see him in the picture there. That is the number 39 of Gavin Henson. 2 spots gained in about 3 laps. He is one of the fastest cars on the track. He is coming quickly, trying to get by Donnie Honeycutt, who seems to have really fallen off here in the past couple of laps. Maybe the tires have fallen off quicker than his contemporaries inside the top 5. And Henson on the move. The number 43 of Michael Cole also on the move. Really the biggest mover of the race so far. Chris Cole up 19 spots after starting 24th. He's up to P number 5.
He is a great run right here for Michael Cole. Adam Holson right behind him. The battle has been on right here around Jacob Cochran, Brandon Vees, and Dustin Lewis a little bit further back right here. Yeah, these guys are battling very, very hard for position. Meanwhile, up around the 3rd spot, it's also on right here between Gavin Henson and Donnie Honeycutt. Put Henson up to the 3rd spot. Michael Cole trying to follow suit. Also, Adam Holson trying to follow them as well. Donnie Honeycutt is getting hung out to dry in that top lane.
Yeah, Honeycutt dropping like a rock here, bleeding positions right now on track, and it's seemingly the tires have fallen off that number 22 machine, so he'll look to potentially get some tires later on in this run if a caution comes out, but otherwise he might be dead in the water, that number 22, in this late race run with just 56 laps left here from Bristol, folks. They're clicking away fast in what has become the longest green flag run of the night. The battle for the lead once again intensifying. You're watching Dustin Lewis also back there pressuring Jacob Cochran for the 8th position, but even closer right now is the battle for the lead. Evan Janik with just about a car length and a half over Michael Wade. These drivers have been trading positions all night long. Michael Wade has led much of this race. They're creeping into lap traffic here. They'll have to get by Mark Cofield first. Currently Cofield running in the 16th position, and he's going to be back into the clutches of the top 2 leaders within a lap or so. Chris, now we're getting to this point where rhythm is everything, and getting through that traffic is going to be of a premium here in the final 40 laps or so.
Yeah, Evan Janik did a great job of working his way around Michael Wade in that number 16. Wade had been, in pretty dominant position on those restarts right there, but Janik now has the position right here. I'm hoping that maybe we might be able to, Ellis and Cam, we might be able to go double wide right here to show the battle going on right here for the 3rd spot. It is on right here around Michael Cole in the 43, the 02 of Adam Holston. Holston is on the freshest tires right here in the 02, the Bass Pro machine. He elected to come to pit road 20 laps ago. So he and Gavin Henson, they got some fresher rubber than some of the leaders that they're around right here. This battle going on here around the 3rd spot, and meanwhile it's also going on right here for the 6th position. You've got Donnie Honeycutt in the lead of this trio right here with Bradley Minor and Dustin Lewis right behind him.
3 little packs of 3 emerging inside the top 10. Right now, your top 5 as they run. It's Evan Janik, Michael Wade. That's the battle for the lead that you're watching on the top left hand of the screen. Then you got Gavin Henson, Adam Holston, and Michael Cole just a little bit further back. Those are your top 5 as they run. Action right now all over the track. The yellow battles are highlighted just galore on my timing screen right now, showing you just how close it is as we watch Adam Holston trying with everything he's got to hold off Michael Cole in that hard charging number 43 machine. Michael Cole running some of the fastest lap times on the track, but the fastest lap times belong to the top 2. You watch them. Evan Janik and Michael Wade, they've been about 5/100ths of a second off of each other's pace over the past 10 laps or so. They're fairly evenly matched. If anything, Cole has maybe dropped back a couple of car lengths in the past couple of laps, but that is the battle. Now with just 45 laps left, it's approximately 10 minutes of green flag racing. They go by in a hurry, folks, at Bristol. Don't go anywhere. We're setting up for a barn burner here as we've seen the longest green flag run we have at all evening, as we watch the lead continue to intensify with Brandon V's also further back there doing battle with Mark Cofield. Couple lap down cars trading positions. 16th and 17th is that battle you're watching.
Yeah, battles all over the racetrack right here as these drivers seemingly getting in a little bit of a groove right here, Ellis. We're focusing in right here on the number 6 right here of Tyler Merkel. He's to the outside of Justin Harris. Merkel is not on the lead lap. He's several laps down. Justin Harris is, we got trouble right here. Brett Wren is around along with Vincent Short. This is going to draw a caution, Ellis.
Big trouble for Brett Wren, the number 24, the 55 of Vince Short here. We'll see if we can return to the scene of the crime, I should say, as we watch Vince Short maybe have a little bit of contact with Brett Wren off the corner.
This started, he kind of ran up on him right there, got loose, and then, came back up the hill, made contact with him again right there. Man, that was right in front of our race leaders. Which could have been, and that was actually, correct me if I'm wrong, Ellis, I think that's the race leader, Evan Janik, who made some contact. I think that as they came back, it was Evan Janik, made some contact with his teammate, Brett Wren, who was crashing. They make some contact to the right front. Yeah, you have to wonder, did that do any wheel damage to the number 60 machine?
I can't imagine it didn't, because he hits pit road with a couple other cars. The leader are on pit road. Chris, Donnie Honeycutt stayed out. Bradley Minor stayed out. Dustin Lewis and Jacob Cochran also stayed out. But you can see a handful of cars have also made their way down pit road, including Evan Janik, who was the leader when that caution came out. A little bit of contact. We're going to have to wait to see what kind of shape that number 60 machine is in as he chases back-to-back wins after getting his first one at Watkins Glen last weekend. Chris, this kind of sets up the story that I kind of thought we might have happen with a late race caution, giving some drivers the opportunity to come down pit road and get tires. And you're going to have a handful of cars. The top three, Chris, 60 laps essentially on their tires, with Evan Janik on fresh tires. Interesting development.
And with that, seemingly, it wasn't a long run, but it's one of the longest runs we've had of the night right there. I think that Evan Janik is going to have a pretty significant advantage, and all these drivers came to pit road with him, a pretty significant speed advantage on the top three up ahead of him. Jacob Cochran stayed out before, but I think he maybe missed pit road because he elected to come this time, and that is a costly mistake because I think he's going to lose some significant track position right here. I just want to point out, Evan Janik did not stay on pit road any longer than he had to get 4 tires, so he did not get any damage fixed. So he's electing to, shoot, maybe there is no significant damage to that 60 right here. We'll have to see how that car handles on this restart.
Yeah, good eye looking at that, noting that just normal amount of time spent on pit road. That tells you either that he did not want to sacrifice the track position, or he didn't have damage that was, really, massive and would have an impact on his car, or maybe just a combination of both. Right now, getting set for the restart, Donnie Honeycutt, Bradley Minor, Dustin Lewis. Those 3 cars, they're on old tires. Adam Holston, Evan Janik, first 2 cars on fresh tires. Let's see how this restart goes. Dustin Lewis, a couple lap down cars. Sorry, Dustin Lewis in 4th position, actually. And Evan Janik and Adam Holston going to have to fight their way through traffic. Holston really gets the jump there. Evan Janik, Michael Wade also up there in that number 16. He's got clear track as he's the first car on the outside. Bradley Minor is going to close that gap quickly, though, as they cross the line.
Yeah, the race is on right there between Wade and Janik right there, and Wade is going to win out as they work their way through the field right there. That is significant, and he's going to get to the outside of Honeycutt for the lead.
Michael Wade up in the lead, and that number 16, he's back to P1, maybe with the biggest advantage. We've seen him all night long. He's loving the scene. One car. Oh. Big contact in the wall. That's Michael the number Cole. 43 of Michael Cole, but we're still under green flag conditions. Everyone gets it gathered back up. 34 laps remaining. That's about nine and a half minutes of racing if we stay green with a long green flag run. 1 car off the pace. That's Vince Short, number 55, back in 16th position. But everyone continues to work their way around the track. It's Michael Wade and Evan Janik. Those are your top 2. They're both on fresh tires, Chris. The first car that was the leader on the restart, Donnie Honeycutt, on 64-lap old tires. He's fallen back to 5th position. That tells you exactly the advantage that those new tires have brought here in the final closing laps of this race.
Yeah, Evan Janik is on the gas right here, Ellis. He cleared the lap traffic. He didn't get through it as well as Michael Wade did, but after he did, he is clear. He is very, very quick right now in that number 60. Wade electing to run the top lane while Janik is trying to wrap the bottom lane.
No! The number 16 of Michael Wade, contact with Vincent Short of that number 55, who had nowhere to go as the leaders closed on him rapidly. We'll have to keep an eye on the front bumper of that number 16. I can certainly see some damage on it as we ride through turn number 1. And Chris, that's how quickly lap down cars and just working traffic can change the complexion of the race and the complexion of your race car.
Yeah, absolutely right there. I'm not sure exactly what happened right there between those cars. I don't know if maybe Vincent Short was surprised by Michael Wade running the top lane or if he had a little bit of issue right there. But, yeah, that's very unfortunate for Wade right here as he is trying to hang really tough right here with Evan Janik. Janik up the hill a little bit into the door of the number 16. They keep it straight, though, as the battle is on here for the race lead.
It's a battle of two gladiators, maybe three, as Adam Holston comes into the picture just a little bit further back from Michael Wade. And Evan Janik, they're going to have to clear the lap car of Tyler Merkel. Janik gives Michael Wade the inside line. He lifts off the throttle and shows discretion as they work through lap traffic. All the top five trying to keep their rhythm with just about 25 laps or 5.5 minutes left if we stay green.
Yeah, right here. That is the question. Will we stay green right here in the final stages of this thing? You have to imagine right here with all the intense racing that there might be some contact right here in the closing stages. Evan Janik is getting through the center of the corner and off so well, really doing a little bit of a later apex, especially in turns 1 and 2, than Michael Wade in front of him right here. Wade trying to work his way to the inside of the lap car of Mark Cofield. Going to get by him right here pretty incident-free. And Janik is peeking to the inside, trying to get position right here on Michael Wade.
And Chris, one of the things that is making me nervous is seeing as these drivers do what they're supposed to and get up out of the way, they're putting themselves in harm's way, these lap down cars that is, as they ride the top of the track. And we've seen that be really one of the most dangerous and treacherous parts of the track. But the battle for the lead is on between Michael Wade and Evan Janik. Janik to the inside, Michael Wade in that cream car, the number 16 to the outside. They make contact off of turn number 2. Down the back straightaway, it's Janik on the inside in the 60, and the number 16 of Michael Wade side by side. And Chris, could you have scripted it any better
I
with
was
the
about to say it.
first and second?
Yeah, it's very, very fitting right here on this day right here where we tragically lost Greg Biffle, that his two numbers right here is 16 and 60 in a couple of tribute cars right here battling for the race win and racing each other very, very hard but very, very clean. This is so exciting to watch.
And Biffle, such a great driver at all tracks, but certainly Bristol, one of his better tracks, certainly in the Xfinity Series, the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. They cross the line. It's going to be 18 now, 19 laps remaining. Here now, caution is out. It's not going to matter anyways. We're not going to see it out green. We'll see if we can't figure out who was responsible for that caution. Go ahead.
It was the number 8 car of Jacob Cochran, if I'm not mistaken. Cochran looks like he got into some trouble off of turn number 4. A very, very unfortunate and very uncharacteristic mistake right here for Jacob. He got loose and, he's just trying to get all that he can get in that downtown auto sales machine right there. And just got loose off of 4. Attacked the inside wall. He immediately towed. He was trying to get off the track and not draw the caution, but unfortunately it did right here. And that's going to make things very interesting right here in the closing stages, Ellis.
It is going to be, I surmise, probably a 15-lap shootout here at Bristol. But Chris, we're going to have some pit stops before we get potentially. Couple cars making the dive towards pit road. Evan Janik and Adam Holston make the ultimate gamble. They trust themselves. They want the track position. Meanwhile, Michael Wade, Gavin Hinson, Vince Short, and Ryan Bittler will make their way down pit road for a fresh set of Goodyear tires. And Chris, what do you think of the call?
That's interesting. I like it, especially if you do have the tires, and I really like it because it seems like they drug a significant number of cars with them to pit road. I am surprised that Donnie Honeycutt elected to stay out on the track. He by far has the oldest tires, and he has 81 right now laps on his tires. I thought that he would be maybe definitely in prime position to come to pit road, but this is going to make it interesting right here. They're definitely going to have a speed advantage. And, with where they're going to restart right here, Ellis, I'm trying to watch where they're going to come off pit road right here. Yeah, it's going to be around the 10th position. It's going to be tough, but I think that there might be some time as long as they definitely keep their cars clean.
Yeah, and you might have another caution thrown in the mix there. Got a couple comments coming in. Commando Griff 3 says tires is a great call. He agrees with you, Chris. They agree with you. This might be a very good call for those drivers who came down pit road to get tires. Connor, this is caution number 19. It's been a tough night at Bristol, but we've had some great racing, folks. If you're just tuning in and you got whether you love racing, you got friends of racing, send the link their way because we are getting ready for what could be an all-time classic here at Bristol. Gridding up here for a 15-lap Saturday night style shootout under the lights at Bristol, the Last Great Colosseum. We're getting ready to see an ultimate showdown, an ultimate fight between gladiators, fighting till the final lap. It's going to be Evan Janik and Michael Cole, two identical cars on the restart. Janik gets away cleanly. Harold Tucker has to lift the throttle in that purple 79. Meanwhile, Adam Holston works the inside, looking for second off of turn 2.
Yeah, and I'm also trying to keep an eye right here around the 8th position right here to watch that number 16 of Michael Wade. Wade is in a lot of traffic right now, Ellis. It has not worked out as well as he would have hoped, I think, on this restart.
Sideways. Brandon V's contact. Ryan Bittler right in front of the field, back around 8th or 9th position. You can see a massive track blocking incident on the back straightaway, and big moment for a lot of drivers. Let's see what happened.
Yeah, we're going to go back to see if we can see what happened right here. And I think the first car around is going to be around the 33 and the 9. That's Ryan Bittler and Dustin Lewis. I think that actually Dustin Lewis is going to be the car that has the initial problem right here. He gets loose right in front of Ryan Bittler. There he is in that Tracker Boats machine on the bottom right there. Car gets loose, gets sideways, tags the left rear of Ryan Bittler. Down the track right here, Justin Harris goes around right there. Vincent Short goes around. Some significant damage for those cars right here. And, yeah, this is going to re-rack the field right here. Alex Pollock, also another car, getting some damage in that incident as well. This will re-rack the field, Ellis. And, yeah, I would say right there on that restart, I thought that Michael Wade had a chance if he got through the traffic. It didn't quite work out, not because of anything he did wrong, just because of, the track was just blocked in front of him.
Yeah.
And he had nowhere to go. So, that was definitely a significant hit to his chances, I think. They're going to re-rack them. It's definitely not over with for him, but it's going to be more difficult now as we've got less laps left in this thing.
Folks, don't forget we're giving away that Brad Keselowski King's Hawaiian bred orange 1/64 scale die-cast to one lucky fan at home. Say hi in the chat. We're going to choose one fan from the chat to send that Brad K die-cast to. Let us know who you think's going to win. How's your day going? Let us know, anything. What your favorite of the moment of the race has been, or if you think we're going to have another caution before we see the checkered flag. Anything gets you entered in to win that Brad Keselowski diecast. Currently, it's Janik and Cole, but Chris, look out for third position. That is your car on the freshest tires inside the top 4. What do you make of Harold Tucker just kind of coming out of seemingly nowhere here?
Yeah. And he is on the same tires as Michael Wade. He elected to go to pit road at the same time right there. And, while we were trying to watch Michael, we missed Harold Tucker. That's my fault right there. Harold did a great job on that restart, was able to work his way through the traffic. And, I know he's had some issues tonight. I know that car has been loose tonight, but Harold is sitting in a very, very, very good position right here to possibly do something to challenge for the win.
Folks, it is going to be a 9-lap Wild West shootout here. Harold Tucker, we believe, has the freshest tires in the top 4. Keep an eye on that purple machine. Meanwhile, he's going to have to get by Evan Janik and Michael Cole, and easier said than done. Janik, the leader on the restart. Can Michael Wade get it going? Can the 43 of Michael Cole, I should say, get it going? Janik gets the jump of the race so far. Tucker just trying to hang on to it on those fresh tires. Contact back there, Bradley Minor and Matthew Heel. That's a battle for the 5th and 6th position. Now Honeycutt, Heel try to work their way by the 79 of Tucker.
Yeah, this has been a great restart right here for Evan Janik. Harold Tucker on the fresh tires, but he has not had a lot of grip right here on this restart, as he is really having a hard time kind of holding up the field. Bradley Minor's around off of 4.
Minor off of 4 is a major incident, but it's the only car involved. He hit that front stretch wall with a head of steam, turns it around, gets it back going the right direction. And don't look now, but this is going to be a 3-lap or 2-lap shootout for the finish, folks. Some inside information from Casey Bristow. He said, I believe this is Harold Tucker's NSRLA debut. So what a feel-good story if he could potentially win. And driver stopping on the track right now to let the pace car catch back up. But, yeah, let's see if we can find out what happened to that that machine that just wrecked a moment ago.
Yeah, we're going back right here to see. This is actually going to start around the 46 right there. Bradley Minor is going to have some contact right there from, that was Gavin Henson in the 39. And, Bradley Minor spun right in front of the field. Everybody did a great job of avoiding right there. I think that Adam Holston maybe made a little bit of contact right there, but they got kind of jammed up, as you can see right there, and Gavin Henson kind of tried to shoot the gap right there and made some contact, and I think that we'll have to see what race control elects to do right here if they elect to put this caution right here on Gavin Henson.
Yeah, we're going to find out momentarily if a driver is going to receive a EOL for that. But, Chris, another car I've got my eye on now. We were talking about Harold Tucker as being kind of an upset, possibility. Matthew Heel, and he's been fast. He's won a race this season, but I would still consider him, based on kind of how this race has gone, I would consider that 57 machine a potential upset threat here. He's really outside of Harold Tucker. He's the next car on fresh tires.
He is, and I think that what we saw out of Harold Tucker right there, and I'll be curious if we see it out of Matthew Hill right here, those guys are on fresh tires, but Ellis, they have a lot of damage to their cars, and I think that maybe is what's hurting the handling on Harold's car, and I wonder if Matthew Hill, if maybe his damage is also significant enough to, disturb the handling. It does look like it's fairly significant for him, so be curious to see if the tires can overcome that damage right here, as the drivers are going to take the choose right here down the front stretch. Janik on the inside, Cole is going to take the outside, and it looks like they're going to double up in the running order that they were in previously.
3 laps is what this shootout is going to be, folks. Do not go anywhere. We are getting ready to see the wildest, most intense racing of the evening, because the win is immediately on the line. 3 laps remaining here from Bristol. 2 Greg Biffle tribute schemes lead the way. It's Janik and Michael Cole. Janik, your leader on the inside, and that number 60. He sees the pace car make that left turn. He now sees the green. It's a bit of a stack up. Further back, Michael Wade in trouble. 8 car lengths back now from the lead. Evan Janik gets away cleanly. It's going to be Michael Cole. Leg chase to Janik with just 2 laps remaining as the leaders come off of turn 4.
Yeah, 2 laps remaining right here, and the battle is on for the 4th spot. Oh, 1 car in the wall. That's Michael Wade, one of the fastest cars all night, and he's going to go around right here.
Oh, Vincent Short in the wall. Bradley Minor in the wall. Massive trouble is going to put us under caution. We'll see a green-white checkered finish, and Chris, that is one of the former leaders.
Michael Wade upside down in the number 16. Car was pirouetting on his nose right there. A wild ride for Michael Wade. And Ellis, it started all the way back here. We're gonna go back a little bit further right here, and we're gonna see right here. Yeah, he's fighting really hard, Ellis. He's very fast. He's on fresh tires. He's trying to get through this traffic. Some contact right there. Car gets loose, hits the wall pretty hard, and I have to think there's some pretty significant damage after that. He gets loose right there. Gets loose again. Collected Bradley Minor. That's Alex Pollock. That car spins around right there, and that's Mark Cofield who hit him. And look at that car spin around on its nose before he lands on his roof.
Chris, that's a 9.3 right there. That's a 9.3. Hey, producer Cam, can we get a shot of 15th position, the 15 of Dustin Lewis? Can we get a shot of that 15th position, that number 33? Chris, is this how the car is supposed to look driving around the track right now?
I don't think that's how it's supposed to look at all, but he is... Hey, I'm going to give him an A for effort right there. He is still chugging along right here. Good to see, and he might pick up some positions right here. If, some drivers...
Oh, there it is.
Oh, no, yep. Oh, no. Hold on to it, Dustin.
That's what we call the crab walk, and that is not a good feeling inside that car with that thing yawed out. The track bar, I believe, broken on that number 33 machine, going to come down pit road. Currently, it's going to be a green-white checkered, folks. And, Connor says you called it. Connor, for once, it did not take a rocket scientist to call the fact that we were likely going to have a green-white checkered shootout based on how this race has gone so far. Also, Chad called the OT as well. Lots of folks not surprised we're getting this overtime finish here at Bristol. It is going to be a wild one. Casey says we haven't seen a car on a nose like this since Pocono. Who was that driver again? Well, I think it was maybe Casey Bristow that we saw end over end just a couple of weeks ago at the Tricky Triangle in the Pocono Mountains. We are getting ready for a green-white checkered finish. And Chris, it's going to be Evan Janik and Michael Cole. They're on the same tires. Harold Tucker has about double of fresh tires. He's got half the time on those tires. Matthew Heel, though, and the running order kind of shaken up here in just a moment. My timing screen's catching up with it. Matthew Heel back in fifth position as the drivers took the choose rule. I got my money on Janik here. If I were a betting man, I kind of like the restarts I've seen on Janik, and with 2 to go, this is one of 2 green-white checkers, so only 2 opportunities for overtime here. Janik waiting for that safety car to head down pit road. There is the moment he was waiting for. He's going to wait to enter that restart zone, mashes the throttle, 2 to go at Bristol. Janik leads the way as they go down into turn number 2. Michael Cole, the only driver who might have anything for Janik down the backstretch.
Harold Tucker right here trying to do everything he can to hold off Donnie Honeycutt for the last step on the podium. If we can get to the white flag, we're guaranteed a green flag finish. We do.
Evan Janik sees the white flag. He climbs the banking through turns 1 and 2, down the backstretch in a fitting tribute. The number 60 car, a number driven by Greg Biffle for so many years. Evan Janik takes it to victory lane at Bristol.
We got several cars crashing after the line right here. Donnie Honeycutt on 102 lap tires was one of them. He's going to hold on, though, to finish in the 4th spot. And our top 3 tonight, Ellis, will be Evan Janik, Michael Cole, and Harold Tucker III, and what we believe is his series debut. Great run and great recovery for Harold tonight.
Well, folks, if you are watching, we'll go ahead and we will award the diecast tonight as we get everything set up for a post-race interview. We're going to go ahead and award the Brad Keselowski diecast trophy tonight to Chad CR932. Chad CR932, you are the winner tonight. Let me make sure. You can email us at ssracingleagues@gmail.com. Chad, you are the winner. Make sure that you email us at ssracingleagues@gmail.com. We'll throw that into the chat. Folks, that was an amazing race, an amazing finish. We're going to catch up with the top 3 momentarily. First driver we hear from is going to be Harold Tucker. We'll see if we can't get him here into the Slingshot booth. Give me a second to work the boards here. Where is old Harold Tucker? These guys are so organized, but this Discord's a big old Discord, Chris.
They're already in the waiting room.
There they are. Okay, yeah, we'll bring in Harold Tucker here from our 3rd place finisher. Harold Tucker, it's Ellis, Chris, and Cam in the Slingshot TV booth. You got a copy.
Hello, sir.
Oh, man. Well, this feels like it's been a long time coming. I don't think we've heard from you on our podium interviews. We've seen you race in a lot of races. And this was I believe they told us it was your debut here at NSRLA. We've seen you in Mystic Racing League quite a few times, but we are excited to see you running up front. And I say it every time I see that paint scheme. It's a good-looking purple paint scheme. You can't go wrong with purple. First of all, congratulations. Talk to us about how your race went over the course of the evening, kind of a night of ups and downs. We saw you have some trouble out there earlier on the track.
Yeah, it was a little bit rough, but hey, had to stick with it like the Biff always did it. But we fought hard all day. Self-spin twice. That's on me. I got too high up in the groove. Jumped that cushion, got that rubber, and just kept sending me around. Fought hard. Car looks like a modified, but heck, we got a P3 out of it. We fought it hard all day long.
Man, we saw you fighting it hard, and you weren't alone in terms of getting up into the marbles, jumping the cushion a little bit and slinging it sideways off the corner. But you ended up working your way back up, just fighting through attrition all night long, man. Best finish of the season. Congrats on that. I got a couple questions for you. Truist, I'm curious about the connection of Truist, on board that car.
Just local bank. We just signed on for the year. They're helping us out with the getting the team funded. Again, Truett's been kind of they've been in NASCAR with BB&T. They're back in it with us for just a bit as we start our franchise up. But all in all, this paint scheme can't thank us to it's your boy Plants. He designed this paint scheme. It is fire. I love him to death. He's my boy. I give my props. All my paint schemes are done by him. If you see him on Train Paints, give him a follow. Hit him up for a paint design because that boy can make a paint scheme worth the while. It is a chef's kiss right there.
I couldn't agree with you more, man. We're Braves fans here, so always good to see Truist on a good-looking paint scheme. Before we let you go celebrate that podium finish, you got any shout-outs for the folks watching at home?
Just want to shout out to the guys at MRL. Been a long-time driver. Just became an admin last year. Love those guys. Hone my craft with them. Shout out for all the sponsors: Truist, Loyalty, Sofa News, Loyalty Automotives, all my friends that joined the stream. Thank you guys. Thank you to Slingshot. Thank you for everybody in this league for putting on the hell of a race. Again, prayers out for the Biff family. He is one of the guys, again, grew up when I started getting into NASCAR. He was one of the guys I watched every week. Love what he did on the racetrack. Love what he did off the track after retirement and into now. It's sad to see that him and his family has passed away. But I would say this man had a hell of a career in NASCAR. He did some amazing work after his career. If he's not in the Hall of Fame next year, I'm going to be heartbroken.
Yeah, I think that is probably more than due. Tough night for a lot of folks, but man, you made that 79 look good and a great run in honor of Greg Biffle. We'll let you go celebrate. Best finish of the season.
Thank you, y'all. Y'all have a good night.
You too, man. See ya. All right, Chris, I believe you caught up with our second place finisher, Michael Cole.
Michael Cole, our second place finisher tonight. This is Chris Ellis and Cam in the Slingshot booth. You got a copy?
Oh, yeah.
And Michael, we talked to you last week after a great run at Watkins Glen. You were on the podium there. You've been on the podium earlier this season at Daytona, sitting fourth in points, and a great run tonight. Seemed like there at the end, you were the only guy who had anything for Evan Janik. What more did you need in that number 43 car? You definitely had that thing looking good tonight.
Really right there at the end, man, is just figuring out when Evan was going to go. I got the best restart I had was the last one that we did. The rest of them, I couldn't figure out when he was going to go. But, I mean, I'm pretty sure me and him, like, had, if not the same amount of laps on tires, if not, maybe he had a few more. But yeah, I don't know. He just got me. He just got me. But I did say last week, that, I figure, I may do decent here. I don't know. Surprisingly, I got super low in qualifying. I qualified like 24th. I could not figure it out. I don't know what was going on, but yeah.
Well, you had one heck of a recovery here in the race, and we're one of the fastest cars here all night. And like I said, you had that thing looking good right here, honoring Greg Biffle right here on your number 43 Ford. Had to be good. Had to be a good feeling right here to get a good finish right here with that tribute paint scheme tonight.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, tonight I've been saying instead of do it for Dale, I'm doing it for Biff.
Yeah, you certainly did, and yeah, you made it entertaining for us all night. We got next week off before for the Christmas holidays before we hit the track at Charlotte here in a couple weeks' time. How do you feel about your chances on the 1.5 mile D-shaped oval?
I feel like I do good at Charlotte or Lucas Oil. No, it's Charlotte,
Good.
right? Oh, no,
Yeah,
sorry.
Charlotte.
I'm thinking of something else. Anyway, Charlotte, yeah, I do pretty good at Charlotte, but I don't know. Some of these guys are really good. So I really can't tell you. I really couldn't tell you. I don't know. We'll just have to see, I guess.
Well, hey, man, we're looking forward to seeing you out there. We know that you're going to be fast, and you've been one of the most consistent drivers all season. We know that win is coming right around the corner here any week. Before we let you go celebrate the second place finish tonight, do you have any shout outs for the folks watching at home?
Yeah, well, I mean, just really the same guys, Andy Berry, Morgan Cook, and Jacob Cochran, Alex Pollock, all them, and definitely Evan for giving me a good race there at the end. Yeah, that's all I got.
Well, hey, man, we appreciate you putting on the show for us tonight, and it was one heck of a race call right there at the end between the two of you guys. That's Michael Cole, our second place finisher tonight. Great run out there, man. Congratulations.
Appreciate it. Y'all have a Merry Christmas.
You as well.
All right, that means there's one left. We've caught up with our winner, Evan Janik, Ellis, Chris, and Cam in the Slingshot booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I gotcha.
Hey, man, 2 weeks in a row, and you are gaining traction, gaining steam, and getting hotter and hotter every single week. Congratulations on picking up the win. And we just talked about the amount of Greg Biffle paint schemes that we saw on track tonight. It was fitting not only that we had a tribute scheme win, but the 60 of all numbers being in victory lane. What does that mean to you?
Yeah, I really don't know yet. It's just crazy to think that someone who was so selfless and did so much for anybody is his whole family's taken like that. So thoughts go out to everybody that was tragically involved, and this is just a small part of life. So
Well, tough night on the track in terms of just kind of, processing a loss that's going to be felt hard by the NASCAR community. But let's talk about kind of your performance out there, man. You were fast all night long, and we were worried about you there towards the end of the race and the last couple of restarts of kind of, not necessarily having as fresh as tires as some of the guys around you, but somehow you were just able to get off the line with a much better launch than most folks and race your way out to a pretty good lead. Talk to us about just how tenuous it was out on the track tonight. A lot of drivers struggled with grip all 200 laps.
yeah, it really depended on what line you ran. I tried to run the bottom as much as I could, and that helped with the tire saving. Like the 16 running the top as much as he did, kind of wore his stuff out and forced his hand to think that he had to pit there. But yeah, it was really just saving as much as you could without giving up any track position. So it was quite the dance, but I was able to make it happen.
And you made it happen in familiar fashion 2 weeks in a row. What does this do to kind of your motivation of winning a championship, seemingly kind of climbing your way into really maybe being one of the top 4 championship favorites?
Yeah, well, this is rinse and repeat for me. Making it's one thing, winning it's another. So just taking it week by week, and that's all I can really do.
Man, we'll be looking out for you in a couple weeks at Charlotte. How do you believe you're going to fare there at Charlotte based on your momentum? But what kind of track has that been for you historically?
Ups and downs. I think I'm able to have top 10 speed everywhere I go, but there's some pretty competitive guys in here. So I know what I can do. It really depends on them. So I'll bring everything I got, and that's really all I got.
Well, man, we were pumped to see you out there putting on a good show all night long. Before we let you go celebrate win number 2 in a row, you got any shout outs for the folks watching at home?
Yeah, thanks to everybody watching at home, everybody that tuned in. Thanks to you guys for putting on a good show. Thank you to NSRLA for putting on a really fun league. Black Diamond Designs, Black Diamond Motorsports. This has been a lot of fun this year.
Man, it's been fun for us to watch you out there. We'll let you go celebrate that win, and we'll see you in a couple weeks at Charlotte. Hope you have a happy holidays and enjoy that off week.
All right, thanks, guys. You as well.
Yes, sir. All right, fellas. So quite an awesome race. It saw its fair share of carnage, which definitely had an impact on the final running order over the course of those 200 laps. Let's go ahead and take a look at where the 28-car field kind of wound up at the end of the evening. You heard us already talk to your top 3 finishers. You can look through the rest of the running order. Donnie Honeycutt with a rebound after 2, bad weeks in a row. He gets back on, back in his groove with a 4th place finish. It was certainly hard fought. Gavin Henson also rebounding from a lap 1 crash, ends up 5th tonight. Matthew Heel, 6th position for that number 57, who came on strong and worked his way up, fighting through attrition, and it winds up 6th. Justin Harris secures a 7th place finish in that number 7. Adam Holson, his first night out with NSRLA, gets that 8th position. 23rd, Travis Bieber earned the pole, started from the back of the pack, works his way up back to 9th position. And Ryan Bittler, 2 top 10s in the last 3 races for Bittler. Keep an eye on that number 9 as we get closer and closer to the regular season finale.
And the drivers that you see right here as we work our way through the next 10 right here, all finished multiple laps down here tonight, starting with Brandon V's in the 11th position right here. Vincent Short's going to finish 5 laps down in the 12th position. Probably one of the fastest cars all night, Ellis Michael Wade, is going to have to settle for 13th after he had that trouble late in his number 16 machine. Bradley Minor, that finishing position is also not indicative of his speed that he had tonight, and I would also say that for Dustin Lewis as well. Dustin was unfortunately in a number of incidents in the number 33. Andy Berry is going to take that Greg Biffle Tribute National Guard scheme to a 16th place finish tonight. Mark Cofield going to bring it home in the 17th position in the number 97. Tyler Merkel, we saw that big crash that he was in earlier in this race. He'll finish in 18th. Alex Pollock will bring it home in 19th, and Jacob Cochran will round out the top 20.
And the final 8 cars definitely had their fair share of trouble. That's Brett Wren, and that number 24 car brings it home 21st after multiple incidents over the course of the evening. 22nd was Dan Berg. 23rd, Jordan Ives, and the number 31, Christian Barnes. 2 weeks in a row, that 27 isn't going to see the checkered flag. He finishes 24th. Enoch Hancock, strong early on, settles for a 25th place finish after a mid-race incident took him out of the running. 26 is David Moyer, out early in that number 47. Gino Volante on his birthday, unfortunately, he's going to have to settle for 27th. Stephen Gill, 29th. I believe Gill and Race Control certainly did not start the race. Blaze Baker are going to be the last car in the running order tonight. And Chris, you called it. It was a race of attrition. We're used to seeing that sort of thing at Bristol. Maybe tonight a little tougher than normal, just considering the car track combination. Saw drivers struggling to maintain grip much of the evening, and it made for an entertaining race, but certainly a calamity field race as well. Fortunately, I think for these drivers, they're going to have an off week before they hit the track again at Charlotte after Christmas. And I believe, Chris, that there might be something interesting happening at Charlotte for one person in our broadcast booth.
Yeah, well, haven't actually spoke officially with anybody in NSRLA about it because, been trying to make sure. Well, I think that it won't be an issue at all, but I've got some plans the next time these drivers hit the track to possibly get out on the track with them at Charlotte. So we're gonna have Sean Signori in the booth, and that's my plan at least. Hopefully they'll take me. If they do, I'd love to get on the track and mix it up with these guys right here before their playoffs start.
It'll be fun to watch. We're kind of an off season for Slingshot TV. We're going to have Slingshot Racing League starting up in a few weeks in the beginning of the new year. Folks, if you've enjoyed watching everything you've seen on Slingshot TV tonight, make sure you hit the subscribe button. We do these races weekly. Give away diecast prizes on a regular weekly basis as well. We gave that away to Chad CR92 tonight. If you're still watching, Chad, make sure that you email us at ssracingleagues@gmail.com. And folks, we are super grateful that you tuned in. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and hit that thumbs up like button. Either one of those two things cost you a cent. We know it's tough, especially this time of year, but that's the best way you can support our channel, and it doesn't cost you a single penny. So, folks, that's going to do it for us tonight here at Bristol. What's been a tough day. Several cars honoring Greg Biffle, who lost his life tragically earlier this afternoon. And the number 60 car carrying the number driven and made famous by Greg Biffle, Evan Janik, winds up in victory lane tonight. 2 wins in a row for Janik. We'll see what he can do in a couple weeks at Charlotte. Folks, that's going to do it for Slingshot TV. I'm Ellis Thomas, joined by Chris Smith and Cam Gillens. Merry Christmas, folks. Happy holidays. We will see you next year.
took a minute, night, then